Hi folks, I'm Josh. I'm going to be looking at procedural generation, the ways it's used, and why we love to play games that use it. When you think of procedural generation, your mind probably goes to your favourite game that uses it, probably a roguelike, right? Well, if you want to get pedantic about it, procedural stuff is just anything that follows a procedure to do its job. It doesn't have to be random or change the outcome at all. An animation, for instance. What I'm going to be talking about here is a way or a system of creating things, like levels or weapons, something that uses semi-randomness to create a large number of them. But is it only good for creating a bajillion squillion different configurations of the same blocks or gun parts? Or can it add more than just bulk to an experience?
Okay, that's a lot of guns.
People are pretty good at recognising patterns. Procedural generation, which I'm going to call proc gen from now on because I'm lazy, is a system that creates stuff from sets of rules. These patterns are not random. An algorithm might have random numbers in it, but without rules it would just be a big mess. It is very often portrayed as the invisible hand building stuff for our amusement. For instance, in Left 4 Dead, it is the bogeyman called the AI director and used to pace out zombie encounters. It carefully takes into consideration the difficulty level, player equipment and health to change the maps and spawn the zombies. For bonus points, we know it's there, so we feel like we're fighting against it and trying to understand the pattern of musical cues to tell what zombies spawn or guess what equipment it has in store for us. Jockey! Uniqueness is something to consider as more and more games use proc gen. Digital media exists in a void of being infinitely reproducible, so it doesn't really have a singular existence. Even the original files from which a game is created are probably backed up in multiple places around the internet, so games can blur this line of what bit is really the original and who is the creator. Procedural generation does this on an even larger scale. They self-author a new original that shares the themes and styles with its other creations, but will never be repeated or copied in them. The developer creates a system that creates. It's not only games that have challenged the meaning of uniqueness. Jason Shiga created an outline for a choose-your-own-adventure story in the graphic novel Meanwhile. It has so many possibilities that it took 2 computer programs over 12 hours to build it into a story. This story can be read in 3,856 different ways, and all of them have coherent arcs and plots. Even though it has been physically reproduced many times, the way it changes itself to the desires of the reader means that their experiences will diverge to create what the original is for them. One game that I really like that makes each encounter with its generator feel different is Sumon the Apgrod. In Apgrod, the mood is dark and the lyrics are pretty odd, like an alternative nightclub. Proc Gen pretends to be that odd singer with a rhyming dictionary. In another of their games, Oracle, the idea was to imitate a sublime message, putting together symbols in visions as if they were delivered by a deity. Proc Gen pretends to be that deity. Summon's art is in teasing beauty out of chaos. The nonsensical lyrics that only technically make sense work well for a surreal atmosphere. The unreal visions in Oracle are open for interpretation, but also don't really mean anything. If you're into it, then there's a charm to the experience shifting itself each time you return. Building a generator like this that works within a theme gives it character. Procedural generation encourages improvisational play. It requires players to constantly adapt and improvise. Learning to do that instead of just rehearsing a section of a game until you're good enough to get through is way more fun. This usually means that your failure is punished by death, which isn't always the most enjoyable, but it's very easy to understand that you got it wrong. The surprises that get you killed are the ones you learn to prepare for or work around. For instance, in Captain Forever Remix, it lets you improvise against the varying challenge from the enemies. You'll have to approach the generated ships in subtly different ways to subvert their designs so you don't get blasted. Once defeated, their parts become a resource for upgrading your own ship with. Your skill to disable a ship without destroying the modules you want, and then designing your own ship from those parts, leads you down branching paths of emergent play. No Man's Sky will create a large universe with a lot of encouragement to explore it and make your mark. While there have been other games with similar scopes for the size of their worlds, only No Man's Sky populates it with creatures you won't find anywhere else. It uses them to create a single universe for all of its players to explore, unlike Minecraft, for example, where each save is fresh. Think of No Man's Sky's online universe as a single Minecraft server. When you begin in Minecraft, it allows you to select a seed. This aptly named string of numbers and letters is a blueprint, which it then uses in all of its calculations to grow the world uniquely from any other seed. No Man's Sky only has one seed for everyone. The challenge then becomes making a place so vast and varied that everyone has enough space to find something of their own. They do this by handing over creation of the animals, vegetation and landscape to algorithms that use the seed and location in the universe to generate a unique fish or whatever for that location. By building up from basic principles of how a real world works, the world becomes cohesive. So, for example, in a swampy biome, all the animals are likely to have camouflaged colours and amphibious features because of the trees and the water. With 18 quintillion planets, there should at least be something different from anything you've ever seen around every corner. The best uses of proc gen allow us to reinterpret its elements so they become a different and greater whole each time we play. One way this can go wrong is what Kate Compton calls the 10,000 bowls of oatmeal problem. It sounds like a delicious problem to have, but if all your generator does is rearrange oats in the bowls, you can easily make thousands of them, and they might all technically be unique. However, will the person that sees them think of them as unique? This is the strength of games like Binding of Isaac. It doesn't create new stuff for you to use. It controls the challenge by combining unique items it already has. Each element fits into another to change the ability of Isaac's collected pieces. In a single run, you will only find a few of those items, so the ones that are there change the context of the challenge and force players to adapt. When you can't predict the challenges coming up, it stops you from taking the easy option. Because of this, I don't think we love the replayability of roguelikes because it creates a ton of variations. We love them because there is a system to be learned, and each run gives us a glimpse into how its rules work. Hi folks, thanks for watching. I've been working on this for way too long, so it feels really good to finally get it out. If you want to support me and help me make more videos like this and other things about indie games, then I have a Patreon where you can get cool rewards, and there's also a subreddit where people will hopefully be talking about this, and I know there are many more smarter people than me talking about it in the comments and discussing the things about proc gen that they enjoy. Special thanks to these lovely people who help me sound smart, and until next time, goodbye. But is it only good for creating a bajillion, squillion different configurations? People are pretty good at recognizing patterns. I don't mean to boast, but I'm people and I can spot zebra stripes from a mile off. It's pretty cool, because the person who created this thing is making a maker, and it makes new versions of itself to be played, so even though you're playing that version, it means that if you play more than one, you are really playing the things that makes them. Yeah. Sorry. Back on track.